ESS, Systems, Models, Energy and Equilibrium Part 2, will examine open, closed, and isolated systems. I will touch on the use of models to represent systems. Remember, this entire unit is only an introduction to ideas and concepts. Everything I present in this unit will be strengthened throughout the course. The significant ideas are: a systems approach can help in the study of complex environmental issues. The use of systems and models simplifies interactions, but may provide a more holistic view without reducing issues to single processes. Here is an outline of the entire unit, the 4 movies of this unit. We looked at Introduction to Systems in the last movie, and this movie is focused right here. Here's a definition for a system, in case you haven't picked it up already. It's an assemblage of parts and their relationships forming a functioning whole. Here are the first 2 IB syllabus statements of this movie. State that a system is comprised of storages and flows, and define the terms storage and flow, provide typical units for each. In defining flows, refer to transfers and transformations. Here is a model or diagram of a system. In fact, there is more than one system diagrammed here. Thus, whenever we talk about a system, we must be clear about what the system is, about what its boundaries are. In this model, there is a system defined by the black boundary here. The black rectangle represents a storage of matter or energy, a storage of carbon or nitrogen or water. Flows, represented by the arrows, are processes in which the matter or energy moves or changes. In this diagram, you can see matter and energy entering the system and leaving the system. Keep in mind that systems can be of varying sizes or scales. I'll speak more about this later in the movie, but systems can exist within systems, as this diagram implies. I've come back to this slide, but I've altered it slightly, as you can see here and here. As you analyze system diagrams, keep in mind that the size of flows and storage represents their relative magnitude. Large flows mean a greater movement than small flows. Large storages mean more matter or energy than small storages. For the storage defined by the black boundary with inputs greater than outputs, this storage would be growing over time. So here are the next 2 IB syllabus statements. Describe open, closed, and isolated systems. Distinguish them from each other. State that closed systems only exist experimentally, although the global geochemical cycles approximate to closed systems. State that an isolated system is a hypothetical concept. An open system, seen here, exchanges both matter and energy across its boundary. Living systems are open systems, always. By example, the tundra biome in June and July takes in sunlight as energy and carbon dioxide or matter across its boundary. In June and July, the tundra biome releases heat as energy and oxygen as matter across its boundary. A forest is an open system. A forest exchanges both energy in the form of light and energy in the form of heat, and matter in the form of carbon dioxide, and matter in the form of water or oxygen. A forest is an open system as matter and energy cross its boundary. A tree is a smaller system than a biome, but a tree is an open system. A tree exchanges energy in the form of light and heat, and matter in the form of carbon dioxide or water and oxygen. Animals are open systems as they take in food and release heat as energy and carbon dioxide through respiration. The food that animals take in contains both matter and energy. Closed systems exchange energy across its boundary, but not matter. Closed systems exist only experimentally, except that the Earth as a whole approximates a closed system. For the Earth as a whole, energy arrives from the sun and leaves the system as heat, while geochemical cycling, carbon, nitrogen, water, occurs within the system. Biosphere 2, established in 1991, located in Arizona, was a closed system, with people and 5 biome types inside, including a 1,900 square meter rainforest, a 1,300 square meter savanna, a 2,500 square meter agricultural system, a 850 square meter ocean with a coral reef, was a closed system. This closed system functioned for 2 years before problems, including low amounts of food and oxygen, and die-offs of many animal and plant species, shut down the experiment. The Earth as a whole approximates a closed system. Sunlight enters, heat leaves, and matter does not enter or leave. Geochemical cycling of matter occurs within the system. Here is a diagram of a closed system. You can see energy in red entering, passing through, and leaving the system. You can see geochemical cycling of matter within the system. Lastly, we can define isolated systems as systems in which neither energy nor matter cross the boundary. Isolated systems are nothing more than hypothetical concepts by which we can compare and better understand open and closed systems. Is a cave an isolated system? No. Caves receive energy from outside as organic matter flows in with stream water or with animals that move in and out of caves. Caves are open systems. A diagram such as this one is also a model, and models are simplified versions of reality used to better understand how a system works and to predict how it will respond to change. Here's the relevant IB syllabus statement. Define and describe a model. Evaluate the use of models in understanding systems. Remember, I'm only introducing concepts in this unit. We will be evaluating the use of models throughout this course. And while models are simplified versions to help us understand how a system works, inevitably they involve some approximation and therefore a loss of accuracy. An artificial pond is an open system. It could be a model as a simplified system to better understand how systems work or to predict how the system will respond to change. With models, we can manipulate certain variables to see how the system changes. Or with models, we can isolate one or two variables to understand the importance of the variable in the system. An aquarium is a model of an open system. A student could reduce the variables found in a natural ecosystem to better understand how one variable changes the system, as well as a student could add a variable to understand the impact on the system. Models are simplified versions of reality, thus they do not have the full complexity of real systems. As such, they involve approximations, and there is a loss of accuracy when using models to understand nature. Here is a model of a system. Is the system bound by the glass open or closed? Hopefully you would say that it's closed. Energy enters as sunlight, passes through the system, and leaves as heat, while matter, geochemicals, cycle within the system. This is a model of the Earth and could function over a long period of time. Could you set up a model such as this one and manipulate a variable to better understand the impact of the variable on change in the system? Could you identify a limitation in your model? Could you see your model as an approximation of reality? Thus, you would need to assess your results carefully. Now, you've seen these IB syllabus statements already, but I have not yet dug into the different types of flows, of which there are two: transfers and transformations. Stay tuned. Storages are standing quantities of matter or energy, and the units are kilograms per meter square or kilojoules per meter square. Notice these are not rates. Flows are transfers or transformations. A transfer is a material or energy change of location only, whereas a transformation is a new end product, a physical or chemical change. Flows have rate units, kilograms per meter square per year or kilojoules per meter square per year. Let's start with a very simple model of the water cycle. We can see storages of water as ocean, water on land, and water in the atmosphere, both liquid clouds and vapor, which is invisible. We can see flows of water from land to ocean or from surface to depth to groundwater. This flow would be seen as river runoff. We can see flows of water in the atmosphere from over ocean to over land. In this diagram, the transformations are evaporation and condensation, represented in blue. Remember, transformations represent a change in state or chemical change. In this case, evaporation and condensation are changes in state. The transfers are in red as simple change in location, nothing more, from land to ocean or from one location in the atmosphere to another. This is a model of the water cycle, the hydrologic cycle. You can see a system boundary in black. This is the Earth as an approximate closed system. Sunlight enters and heat leaves, but water cycles within. Can you identify the transformations by name? Can you clarify transfers as river runoff or the movement in water in the atmosphere by winds, as liquid in cloud or as vapor? Here is a model of a plant. Within the plant are chemical reactions, photosynthesis, and respiration. These processes would be transformations. I've labeled the transformations in red and transfers in blue. Pay attention. Light arrives at the surface and some reflects. Reflection involves no change in energy, so this is a transfer. The plant takes up carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide diffuses into the plant. This is a transfer. And then the plant transforms the carbon dioxide into glucose. This is a transformation, photosynthesis. The plant respires a transformation, releasing carbon dioxide as part of the transformation, and then carbon dioxide diffuses out of the plant, a transfer. Nutrients from the soil are taken up as a change in location, a transfer, and then incorporated into organic molecules, a transformation. Here is a model of the carbon cycle on Earth. Notice the different sizes of the storages. The flows do not vary in width, but units are given. Notice that the flows are rates and the storages are a standing quantity, not rates. The units here are in moles, a quantity that could easily be converted to mass. The transformations are in red. Photosynthesis, respiration here and here. The combustion of fossil fuels is also a chemical change, a transformation. The erosion of rock is a chemical change, a transformation. The transfers are in blue. Death, just a transfer, but decomposition is a transformation. In this diagram of the carbon cycle, a diagram we will study later in this course, notice the units for storages, standing masses, and the units for flows, as rates. Here is a diagram of the hydrologic cycle. The transfers are labeled T1 and the transformations T2. Study this image to strengthen your understanding of transfers as nothing more than a change of location, and transformations as a chemical or physical change. A physical change means change of state. Liquid to gas, gas to liquid, solid to liquid, liquid to solid. Here's a diagram of the nitrogen cycle. The transformations are in red as chemical changes. The transfers are in blue as simple change of location. I'll let you study this slide on your own. We will be looking closely at the nitrogen cycle later in this course. Here's a diagram of the phosphorus cycle. You can see the transformations in red and transfers in blue. I only want to make one point with this slide. Flows tend to be fast when living organisms are involved. Flows tend to be slow when moving in or out of the deep earth, the sediments. And the last IB syllabus statement of the movie state that the concept of a system can be applied at a range of scales. The Earth as a whole can be considered a system, a large system. The tropical forest biome could be considered a system. A biome is a major global biotic community, such as a grassland or a desert, characterized chiefly by the dominant forms of plant life in the prevailing climate. A desert biome is an open system. A biome is a major global biotic community, such as a grassland or a desert, characterized chiefly by the dominant forms of plant life and the prevailing climate. The tundra biome is an open system. This is a photo that I took in Svalbard, Norway, at 78 degrees north latitude. The savanna grassland biome is an open system. Systems can exist within systems. The river system can exist within the larger tropical forest system. The taiga biome is a system, and each system is likely to be unique based on its climate or evolutionary history, unique with respect to the species that exist there. Biosphere 2 was a system, a closed system. The school pond is a system, a smaller, open system, yet the school pond also serves as a model of reality, a simplified version of reality, sometimes in miniature, sometimes as software, simplified by reducing the total number of working parts or variables, to more simply display the workings of a system, to better predict change. But, as a simplified system, there is a loss of accuracy. The individual organism is a system, an open system. An aquarium is a system, an open system. And systems can be very small. This ant is an open system. And that brings us to the end of IB, ESS, Systems, Models, Energy and Equilibrium, Part 2.